Yeah, the semi-final pairings of the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations in Cote d'Ivoire is now complete. Nigeria will face South Africa, and of course, host Ivory Coast will face DR Congo. The game between Mali and the host is still generating a lot of issues on social media. On that, we welcome you to yesterday at the AFCON, and of course, reviewing those two drama-filled games yesterday, particularly the one in Yamoussoukro between South Africa and of course Cape Verde. Once again, welcome you, viewers across the world. Thank you so much for your support, for your company. Each time we come around to do this, Kado Gundari and James Agrebi, they are here, and of course we'll be doing this today as always. Guys, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Femi. It's a pleasure to be here. Good morning.
Yeah, thank you, Femi. Happy to be on today's edition.
Okay, all right. One thing that I think I particularly learned at this AFCON is when you don't take your chances, you live to regret it. And I would say that was what happened to Cape Verde. They had chances, but they didn't take it. And in the penalties, I'm sure they didn't practice a penalty shootout ahead of the game. We saw that in the shootout. James, let's get started. Captain Fantastic, of course, Robert Williams was the hero for the Bafana, the boys. I can't remember the last time I heard that a boy killed a shark. But yesterday, the boy defeated Blue Sharks. James, what happened to professional footballers, at least to some extent, being able to take a penalty shootout? Even you might not be a professional at it, but at least aim for the goal. We saw that Robert Williams, 4 penalties to help South Africa book their first semi-final belt at the AFCON since year 2000, and they are 4th in the history of AFCON.
Well, I don't know what's happening to especially these teams that started like a house on fire when the competition began. Because if you check out the semi-finalists, they are former champions. So all the teams that have been huffing and puffing, they are just falling by the wayside. I don't know, maybe because they've been overwhelmed by the occasion or inexperienced setting. Because if you check out the way they had that game in their hands. I mean, when you get to this stage, I mean, when the opportunity comes, you just have to try and take them, because you never can tell. And I think they allow the game to drag into penalties, and Williams now showed his worth. And so making 4 penalties, making 4 penalty saves. It has never happened in the history of AFCON before. So he has that record for himself now, so that's the most important thing, that's why you need to make sure that everybody, every department in your team going to a major tournament, everything is intact. I mean, they have everywhere now is about Williams and his heroics, because the players, they've done their own, and he now came to the party. So I think this one too is like a message to the Super Eagles that they just have to do everything possible now to win their game in regulation time. But although it's not something like cast in stone that if they meet Nigeria during penalties, he's still going to perform the heroics. We've seen goalkeepers who, after doing so well in previous game, the following game they tend not to do well when it comes to shootouts. So I think he's the target now. Whoever want to miss South Africa, that they have a very good goalkeeper when it comes to penalty. So they have themselves to blame, and it's a valuable lesson for them. That when it gets to tournaments like this, there are certain things you just have to do, especially when it comes to the knockout. You just have to try and take your opportunities, because I think they did that. I don't think South Africa would have been able to even come back, because I think they edged the game, but when it mattered most, they were found wanting.
Okay, of course. So Robert Williams has equaled the achievement of Andre Arendse, who was in goal for South Africa when they won the AFCON in 1996. Of course, Arendse kept 4 clean sheets in that tournament. But what is so special with Williams is that he has kept it in 4 consecutive matches. Let's talk about Robert Williams still. I remember during the preview, our countdown for the AFCON, you particularly mentioned Robert Williams. I'm sure yesterday you'll be saying, I told you, this guy is good. And we saw him yesterday, in the African parlance, we say jazz. It was like he had something that was telling him this is where this kick this kicker is going to direct the ball, and he gets almost all right, right all through the penalty shootout.
I'm not going to say I told you so, because whenever you say I told you so, definitely something bad has happened. But I'm just going to say that for those who had seen this young man before this competition, they will understand that what he did yesterday was not totally surprising. He has been a top goalkeeper in the last 2 years in Africa. He has been a part of the dominance of South African clubs on the continent. He is a worthy captain. He leads, even though he stays at the back, but he leads them with gallantry. That's one. And that was what informed my saying that he is my star player even before the competition started. I remember when we had that conversation, I told you that for all I care, it could be their tournament could be down to what he is able to do, and he showed it yesterday. That's one. Secondly, what he did yesterday for me is a kudos to the technical staff of the South African team. Shortly before the penalty kicks, I saw one of the assistant coaches talking to Williams, telling him each of those who were going to take penalties, their favored spots. I saw that. He was told this person is going to play towards your right. This one is going to play towards your right. So it was, of course, we are not going to discount his agility, his effort, but he had the cheat code.
The awareness as well, yeah.
Yeah, and one other thing he did that some goalkeepers need to learn from is very, very unusual to see goalkeepers that would wait until the last possible moment before committing themselves. Every of those 5 kicks, he guessed correctly, and he was able to save 4 out of 5. So it is down to his own ability and then the brand work of the backroom staff. So everything just came together for the South Africans, and they deservedly won. Yeah, of course, I agree that balance of play. I agree that on the balance of play, the Cape Verdeans had the game in their hands. But if you do not take your chances when they come, I'm not sure you're going to blame anybody for that. So this just shows that at the end of the day, where are the minnows? Of course, I will salute Cape Verde. Their run was good. Like I said, they were the dark horses that I predicted. They went as far as this stage, but it's the usual suspects in the last 4 now.
Okay, I don't know if we should say DR Congo, one of the grand underdogs at this competition. They've won it before.
No, they are not. They are not.
They are not. Okay, of course they have pedigree and they have AFCON. They've won it twice, so we cannot say that. James, let's talk about Hugo Bruce. You know, we focus on spotlight on him before the AFCON about what he had to do. You know, South Africa failing to qualify for the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar, but it seems that, like we said, since that defeat to Mali in the opening game, it seems the turnaround just came for the team. Though you would say in regulation time, they didn't bring enough to the game, because if they were to play a team that had the better final or that had better players, South Africa might not even get into penalty shootout yesterday, because I would say that they were poor. But would you still give it to the tactical genius in Hugo Bruce to have pushed the Bafana to this stage at the competition?
Well, you still have to give him his flowers because going into this tournament, I don't think anybody gave them a chance of even getting to the quarterfinals. But they've surpassed that, getting to their first semi-final since 2000. So you have to give the coach kudos. I mean, they did it by taking out the best team in Africa, South Africa, Morocco. So for them to do that, you have to give them some respect, you know. And yesterday too, despite the fact that the game was a bit tough for them, but at least they were able to take it to penalties, and the goalkeeper came out for them, you know. So I think the coach has he has been able to bring something into the team. The confidence in the team has continued to grow. You know, after the defeat to Mali, you would think that will kind of affect them, but they were able to bounce back. And luckily, the game against Namibia was a good platform for them to overcome the defeat against Mali. You know, so it brought out that confidence, this motivation in them. They were able to use it to as a platform. And they played against Tunisia. They were able to hold their own, So apart from the game against Namibia, you see that, and then Morocco, it was a tactical game for them, which they executed well. So it shows that they learned from the loss to Mali, and they've been growing into the competition and getting to the semi-final is no. So I say kudos to the coach, and to think that most of the guys, they don't have any Euro-based player in their I stand to be corrected. I don't think they have any Euro-based player. Most of the guys are from Sundowns. They have some from Orlando Pirates. So it's the team that most of the players are.
Okay.
And for the coach to have confidence in them, that's why the fact that almost none of them play in outside their country. I mean, kudos to the coach, and it goes to show that they are really putting out what the coach has given them, and it's really working for them.
Okay, of course, Hugo Bruce is a very experienced coach. You remember I won the AFCON with Cameroon. Kyle, let's talk about the other game between Ivory Coast and DR Congo. I don't know what to say, Kyle, because at full time, I saw the coach of Mali, water was being poured on his head. At that point, God forbid, anything could have happened, the shock or whatever. Would you say that he did not manage that game because there are just few minutes left to hold on to their lead, and they also had one man advantage, but they just couldn't take it?
I quite understand why the coach felt the way he did after the game. He was so shocked. He had the game under his control. Although we must say in modern football, there's always a tendency for a team when it goes down to 10 men or 9 or whatever the case may be to become much more difficult, because then they set up in such a way that they are much more tactical than if they were 11. But even at that, they had the game in their hands to win. Unfortunately, they did not take their chances. And I guess when they scored that goal to go ahead, they just mentally switched off. They were already picturing themselves in the semi-finals. And then they were playing against a host nation that this is where the relentless support of the fans came in yesterday, Femi. You saw that the Ivorian fans did not give up on their team, even though they were a man down and a goal down. They kept urging them on until they were able to equalize and still nick that game at the death. Now, all of a sudden, the Ivorians are now one of the favorites. Whether you like it, they are now one of the favorites because everything
out of luck, because they are not playing well. Would you say luck has pushed them this far?
Femi, I will be hypocritical if I tell you it is luck alone. You make your own luck. Femi, against Mali, that team I would not agree that it is only luck that took them past Mali. Everything was against them. They had a man down, a goal down, yet they never gave up. That is not luck again. They did all they could. Femi, now I understand. If I'm going to be honest with you, of the 4 semi-final teams, I would think they are like 3rd or 4th, if I have to rank them. But what I've seen them through these 2 games has been sheer determination. That, of course, against Senegal in the quarterfinal, in the round of 16, they were just lucky because penalties could have gone either way. Now, in this game, they can sense that they are closer to the victory, to the title than they've ever been in a long while. So now they're going to throw the kitchen sink at anybody. At anybody, they're going to throw the kitchen sink at you and make sure that they do whatever it is required to win. So all of a sudden now, from coming through the backyard into the round of 16, they are now credible threat for the remaining 3 teams.
Okay, James, let's talk about some controversial moments in that game. I still remember what Crepin Daza said about after defeat to Ivory Coast. I'm talking about the Senegalese winger now, alleging that there is favoritism. Now, the first goal, the equalizer for Ivory Coast, Sebastian Heller nodded the ball, but in the process, he appeared to have injured a Malian player. And a lot of people thought the Malian player was pretending. But even after the goal was given, the guy had to be attended to by medical personnel. And I remember even one of the medical personnel, the referee had to give him a yellow card. Would you say that because some people argue that that should have been a foul, because even the VAR allows you to review what a build up to goal or to a play, and they said Sabasayel actually committed a foul in that regard. Do you agree with that?
Femi, at this point, Mali will hold on to anything to complain. Anything, any excuse they will use to push their point that maybe the referee was biased, the VAR should have done this, should have
There's
done
even
that.
nothing they can do now.
They are just complaining left, right, hands. I mean, you had the game in your hands. What else do you want? You got a penalty, you missed it. The player was sent off. You took the lead. You just allow it to just go away like that. It's not as if I'm trying to be boastful. I think in the Super Eagles that is in their shoes, there's no way the Ivorian will come back into that game. You completely shut them out and you make them. They didn't allow the Ivorians feel their one man down. You allow them back into the game. So what's all this? One player they were looking for the equalizer. Is it possible? It's possible that the guy to feign injury, maybe he decided to allow the medical team to come so that you feel that the issue is serious. I mean, they were looking for the equalizer, and every tackle, they had to put in everything. So all these excuse of our player was fouled, is that it doesn't hold, you won't hold any water. I mean, like I said, they had it in their hands, they threw it away, so they should not start blaming anybody. I mean, it's so annoying. You had everything in your hands. What else do you want? That was when I mean, what you have done, you hold on to the ball, you make the Ivorians to run. They are the one looking for the equalizer. You don't play to their tempo. You don't play to that tempo. You dictate the play. You make them run to tire them out. But you kept playing at their tempo, and at the end of the day, you consider and you now come out and start complaining that happened. Even at the end of the game too, they kept complaining that they didn't allow them to play their corner. I mean, it was so funny that yesterday. So like I said,
you took that on my mouth, and I think actually the referee gave a goal kick instead of what appeared to be a corner kick. Sorry, I'll direct that question to you. The referee appeared to have given a goal kick for what appeared to be a corner kick, and I think that was what infuriated the Malian captain. And we saw what happened. It was red carded, and the matter almost degenerated into a fiasco, and it had to take their own official to have to even pull their players and even his fellow officials away from digital referee, because the ending momentum in that game was very, very tense.
Well, that was decent, and I expect CAF to slam their hammer on the player and a few of the Malian officials too. I mean, why would you cry when the head is already cut off? You had your chances, you did not take them. You had a penalty, you didn't take it. As a matter of fact, the Ivorians finished the game stronger than you did, even though they were man down, and they finished they finished the game stronger than you did. And if they are taking that into penalties, the psychological boost of being on top would have actually seen the Ivorians through, because don't forget that they had gone through this part before. I think they were not just able to manage the game the way they should have. If they had, like James said, if they had a coach who has this defensive philosophy, he would have just locked the midfield up and thrown the key away. If that game had gone on for ever and ever, the Ivorians would not smell their goal area. But I mean, it is what it is. Even if the referee had allowed the game to continue, what's the guarantee that you're going to score? So when things like this happen, I know players are always going to be players. You want to hold on to anything as an excuse. That's what I see. That's why I think they just holding on to anything they can see. And I guess CAF is going to punish them. And it will be rightly so.
Okay. I want to agree with Kyle. The coach, maybe the coach actually locked the midfield, but handed the key to the Ivorians because at a point I think Mali didn't even know what to do there, and they could have even lost that game even before them because Sebastian Hella's header in inside the additional 30 minutes hit the crossbar. Now, James, as we wrap up now, how would you feel for Oumar Diakite? He scored the winning goal, and it was recorded. They will be playing in the semi-finals, and you could see that there is just a thin line between joy and sorrow because you saw that maybe I'd forgotten that was on the yellow card. That he was even lucky because his thought were high and it landed on the head of a Malian player, so the referee only gave him a yellow card. But after he scored the winning goal, he was so happy, also elated that he removed the shirt. And of course, the rule says it has to be a yellow card, and he was sent off. And then you saw that from celebration, he quickly switched into tears, and they have to take him away.
I mean, if there is one area, I think people should just try and be lenient. I think it has to do with this celebration thing because a lot of people have fall victim in this aspect. I mean, imagine somebody scoring the winning goal and in trying in while you are celebrating, you've forgotten that you're on yellow and you just flouted one of the rules, and from happiness, from joy to despair. I mean, it's a very it's a sad one, So I believe it's painful because it's going to miss the penalty, the semi-final,
Semi-finals,
but
yeah.
it's on a run now, and whoever comes in, I believe you have a capable replacement. So maybe FIFA have to just pardon some of these players and be lenient. But the rules is there already, so it's not you can't say you don't. But he's just out of joy. He just forgot himself, and
Okay.
how somebody celebrates, how they express themselves. So that was how he expected to. He wanted to express himself. Unfortunately, it backfired on him. It's funny, but at the same time, it's sad.
Okay, just don't worry. We'll take our matter to Court of Arbitration for Sport. Yeah. All right. So, guys, we have a very interesting semi-final pairings. Nigeria. Don't forget, Nigeria will be taking on South Africa. That is some rivalry that will be renewed again. The 2023 AFCON, and of course, we have Ivory Coast who have their hands full against DR Congo that no one saw coming with that 3-1 victory over Guinea in their quarterfinals. James Akaude, thank you so much for your thought today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Femi. See you some other time.
Yeah, thank you, Femi. See you next time.
Okay. All right. So our fans across the world, we appreciate you so much for your support. Of course, we'll be coming to you in just in a few days, in a day or two, for the preview of the two semi-final matches. Remember, the AFCON is almost at the business end now. Semi-finals, just 2 more victories for any of the remaining 4 teams, and we'll have a new winner for the Africa Cup of Nations. Thank you so much for your support. Don't forget in the comment section what has interested you the most or what has impressed you the most about the organization, about CAF, about security, about whatever regarding 2023 AFCON. Please put this in the comment section and we will read out even on the show to know how you are perceiving the competition, and also please indicate where you are commenting from. We'll see you some other time. I remain Asholula Femi. And our producer, thank you for always doing this. Bye for now.